is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on a budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a current subscriber, what's up? We greatly appreciate it. Come on in, make yourself at home. You know the routine. This week for my collection video, I see a lot of people doing Criterion videos on the 50% off sale they have periodically throughout the year. Didn't pick up anything from the 50% off sale, but I did pick up a new Criterion, one in an eBay auction, and I've also added a few new Criterions to my collection since my last update video, February 2024. So this is my 2025 Criterion collection update. So without further ado, sit back, relax, have a drink, have a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video. We're back at the Black Cave. Back at the Black Cave. We are back at the motherfucking Black Cave. I'm just going to jump into my collection here. I'm not going to go over the specifics of director and actor, just pretty much the disc, the cover, and the spine, and just a little bit what I know about it. But this is Bamboozled. This is spine number 1019. Get that focused in right. This is a Spike Lee joint. Damon Wayans, Savion Glover, Jada Pinkett Smith, Tommy Davidson, and Michael Rappaport. This is more or less a social commentary on Hollywood and how black actors and black actresses many times have to compromise some of their beliefs or dignity in order to make it in Hollywood. It's just kind of a parody on that though, but fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely check out Bamboozled. Next, I have a movie that was recommended to me by one of my subscribers. Haven't watched this yet. This is spine number 48. Black Orpheus. Looks like just from the visuals, very colorful, very vivid film, but haven't watched this yet. I believe it's Charlie Moore that recommended this movie. Haven't watched this yet, Mr. Moore, but I will get to it. Next, we have a classic here, The King of Cool, Steve McQueen, The Blob, spine number 91. And this is a classic horror. The Blob has been redone again. I think the remix is on several different distributors. I think I have the Twilight Time version of it though. Just fun, black and white, classic horror. And again, you have one of the coolest actors in the industry, Steve McQueen, The Blob. Next, one of my favorite movies. This might be the movie that made me love John Malkovich, by one of my favorite directors, Spike Jonze. It's spelled very similar to my name. Well, spelled exactly how I spelled my last name, Hayes Q Jones. If you're not familiar with Spike Jonze, he started out as a director for music videos. I know him from the music videos he did with The Far Side, Passing Me By, and Drop. Very unique, very quirky, very imaginative videos. And same with this movie being John Malkovich. This has John Malkovich, John Cusack, Cameron Diaz, Charlie Sheen. I forgot he was in here. Wow. Essentially, this is a story about a room that leads to a portal to John Malkovich's head. Yeah, very unique, very eclectic, unusual, quirky film, being John Malkovich. And this is Spine number 611. Next, another very unique movie with one of my favorite actors also, Peter Sellers, Being There. This is Spine number 864. Essentially, Peter Sellers is someone that has a learning disability. He's not exactly all there. Visually, you really can't tell, but if you really sat down and talked to him, you understand you probably talked to someone with intelligence of maybe a 6 or 7 year old. But the whole twist of the movie is people think he is just like the most intelligent, charismatic person in their circles, and somehow he's elevated to this high status among high society. And the last scene is just so classic. If you haven't seen that though, where he walks out, and I'm not gonna say anything else though, but this is kind of part of the last scene. Again, if you like Peter Sellers, you like quirky, very unusual movies, Being There. Next, Brad Pitt, Cate Blanchett, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Another fantastic movie. This is Spine number 476. Essentially, you have a person who is aging backwards. He's going from an old man to a very young man to a essentially child. Brad Pitt, Cate Blanchett, fantastic performances, great movie. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Next, we have Bottle Rocket. This is a Wes Anderson film. Owen Wilson, Luke Wilson, Robert Musgrave. Wes Anderson, and this is Spine number 450. Wes Anderson is just a very unusual actor. His movies are a little bit offbeat, deadpan humor. It's not always like laugh out loud humor. Is sometimes just awkward silences, gestures, facial expressions, and just very odd storylines. Bottle Rocket is one of several. Not one of my favorite Wes Anderson movies though, but still a decent movie. Bottle Rocket. Next, we have, I believe it's Brian De Palma, Blowout, a young John Travolta, Nancy Allen, great suspense thriller. This is Spine number 562. I believe John Travolta plays a sound man that witnesses an incident. It's been years since I've seen this though, but I just remember this being, Brian De Palma was really big, I think in the 70s and the 80s, just a lot of really cool, almost Hitchcock-like movies, just with a new video, his own twist to it though. Great movie, Blowout, Spine number 562. Next, one of my favorite Westerns with two of my favorite old school actors, old school as far as I'm concerned, Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte, Buck and the Preacher, directed by Sidney Poitier. This is Spine number 1140. This also has a young Ruby Dee in there. He's a little hottie. Great extras in this also. That's what Criterion's collection is known for, their extras. And it just goes into how the movie had one director. I guess Sidney wasn't happy about the direction the movie was going, so he ended up directing the film. Harry Belafonte's daughter is like one of the extras, just talking about the movie and her involvement within them riding horses. So Very great movie, great extras in the supplements. Buck and the Preacher. And again, this is spine number 1140. My next one is Buena Vista Social Club. This is a documentary. This is spine number 866. Fantastic documentary. I believe it's down in Cuba. It goes through a little bit of the history of Cuban jazz. Fantastic soundtrack. Matter of fact, this is the soundtrack, the Buena Vista Social Club. Two smashes, Candela and Chan Chan. Candela, Candela. Crazy guitars, bongos, horns in the back. Real funky jazz. Fantastic documentary, fantastic soundtrack. It's in Spanish, subtitles though, but it's very easy to follow along. Buena Vista Social Club. Next, another documentary, Crumb. This is spine number 534. This is a documentary on the artist, what is his full name? Robert Crumb. If you're of a certain age, keep on trucking. That was a big thing in the 70s. That was his artwork. Guy has some issues. He and his family have some definite mental issues, and some of it will come out in his artwork, and just goes over his life, his brother's life, and how they got into art. Really interesting documentary, Crumb. Next, we have another Wes Anderson, The Jarling Limited. Adrian Brody, Owen Wilson. Okay, I think he and his brother go on a train ride. I saw this, again, not one of my more favorite Wes Anderson movies, but still very different, very quirky. Again, this is spine number 540. The Jarling Limited. Next, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. This is a kind of satire on war films. Another Peter Sellers movie. Stanley Kubrick. It's real quirky. This is, what is his name? He was a big kind of a country actor back in the day. He's riding a bomb. Can't think of his name offhand though. But just a really fun, quirky, unique social commentary on war and the effects of his people. Dr. Strangelove. Next movie I love, Bill Duke. Bill Duke, old school actor. He was the bald guy in Car Wash. He was the guy in Menace to Society where he had Kane in the interrogation room. You know you fucked up, right? You know you fucked up. That's Bill Duke. He directed this. Lawrence Fishburne, Jeffrey Goldblum. Fantastic crime movie about an undercover cop. This is spine number 1086. Love the whole purple, dark purple look on the cover art. Famous line when the white detective is interviewing undercover potential black officers. He asks him that ever so delicate question, what's the difference between a black man and a ninja? And you know the actual word though. Great scene. Love how Lawrence Fishburne handled that. Fantastic movie, deep cover. Next, a movie I haven't watched, actually got this by mistake, thinking it was the other Funny Games with, I can't think of the actor's name. Last name is Pitt, no relation to Brad Pitt, though. I think this is the original movie. Essentially, it's these two young psychopaths that just terrorize people. I think this is like a German version. Spine number 975. Haven't watched this one yet. Funny Games. Next, The Game with Michael Douglas and Sean Penn. Fantastic thriller suspense movie with Hitchcock elements, action. Just a really fun movie. Again, keeps you on the edge of your seat. The Game. This is the booklet here. Haven't watched this in a while. There's so many movies, not enough time. Spine number 627, The Game. Next, Forrest Whitaker, Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai. This is a gangster movie / samurai movie. Spine number 1057. And it's bizarre and it's mesmerizing at the same time. You basically have this Forrest Whitaker, not necessarily looking like a samurai though, but lives the code of the samurai in New York while kind of involved in a crime-like situation though. Very interesting, somewhat mesmerizing movie. This is spine number 1057, Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai. Next, Girl Fight with Michelle Rodriguez. Spine number 1219. I think this is one of the movies that kind of propelled her into the limelight. She was always kind of that sexy tomboy. And Fast and Furious, she really kind of blew up after that. But this is like one of the first movies I think she really started getting noticed. Girl Fight. And this is spine number 1219. Hoop Dreams, another documentary. This is spine number 289. Fantastic documentary about two high school basketball athletes. It follows them, I believe, from middle school up to college, and just showing them their home life, their sports life, and how it revolves around basketball. There's one scene with one of the main characters, his older brother, who was a basketball star that didn't make it. I forgot it was injury or whatever. And he was just like, he put everything in the basketball. That didn't work out. He's like, I'm nothing now. Basketball is all that I have, so I'm literally nothing. That was like one of the most depressing scenes I've ever seen in a documentary, though. Hard-hitting, compelling, well-shot, well-told story. Hoop Dreams. Next, I have In the Heat of the Night with the legend Sidney Poitier. This is spine number 959. I believe, this has been a while since I've seen this. I believe Sidney Poitier is an attorney sent down to the deep South, the very deep racist South, post-Jim Crow, to solve a case. This is where I believe he delivers the famous line, "They call me Mr. Tibbs." Fantastic movie. In the Heat of the Night. And spine number 959. Next, very funny movie, Alan Arkin. Peter Falk from Columbo. The In-Laws. This is spine number 823. Now, they did a remake, I think, with Michael Douglas, and I can't think of the other one. Not nearly as funny as this. Just the chemistry between Alan Arkin and Christopher Columbo. Peter Falk and Alan Arkin is funny. Is almost slapstick, deadpan humor. Just funny. Is these two guys whose children are getting married, and they have to meet each other, and Peter Falk kind of brings him into his world of craziness. So just really fun movie, The In-Laws. Next, Willem Dafoe, Martin Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ. Spine number 70. Very hard movie to watch. Not as hard as the Passion of Christ, but it gives a different take on the Jesus Christ story. It's more as if Jesus was not necessarily the Son of God, but just a mortal man, with all the flaws and imperfections of a normal man, though. Willem Dafoe does a fantastic job. Very interesting movie, The Last Temptation of Christ. Next, The Life of Quatic, with Steve Zissou, starring Bill Murray. This is one of my more favorite Wes Anderson movies, probably because Bill Murray's in it. He's kind of like this Jacques Cousteau character. I think he's like toward the end of his career, and he's kind of like a salty, bitter guy, and Bill Murray just nails the part. Again, just great offbeat, deadpan humor. Spine number 300, Life of Quatic. Next, we have the original Lord of the Flies. I actually like the remake a little bit better, but this is still a great story. You have these prep school kids stranded on a deserted island, and they kind of establish their own hierarchy as far as who's in charge and who reigns over the others. And it becomes almost a very violent and somewhat sadistic relationship between those in power and those without power. And it kind of gives a little bit of social commentary about that and maybe the true nature of man. Spine number 43, Lord of the Flies. This is all in black and white, but still great movie. Next, we have Love Jones, Lorenz Tate, and what is that sister's name? Can't think of it offhand. It's on the tip of my tongue. But fantastic love story. Got great soundtrack also. Mary J. Blige. And her name is just on the tip of Nina Long. There it is, Nia Long. Isaiah Washington, Bill Bellamy's in here. Been a while since I've seen this movie. Great soundtrack, great actor, actress, Love Jones. And this is spine number 1117. Next, I haven't seen this one in a minute. Gordon Parks. I believe he's the director of Shaft. Not 100% positive. I believe he did Shaft. And this is growing up in rural Kansas in the 1920s, essentially in the Jim Crow era for a young black male. And Gordon Parks just has a beautiful way of filming his surroundings and kind of bringing you in to the story and the surroundings of the area where he's shooting. The Learning Tree. This is spine number 1107. Next, we have the Melvin Peebles Essential Films. And I've only seen a few of these. I have not seen the story of A 3-Day Pass. I haven't seen that one. Sweetback's Badass Song. This was rated actually X because it has some pretty erotic scenes. But the story of 3-Day Pass, that's fine, 1093. Sweetback's Badass Song, 1095. Watermelon Man, great social commentary movie, very funny. It's fine, 1094. And Don't Play Us Cheap, which I have not seen yet. It's fine, 1096. And just gives a little booklet here about that. But this movie did so well in the theaters that I think MGM gave him $1 million contract. He did this one independently after doing Watermelon Man. It was such an outrage that they took the contract away for this one, though. But he made so much money off this money independently, he didn't care. So the Melvin Van Peebles Essential Films collection here. Next, I have a younger Denzel Washington, Mississippi Masala. I don't believe I've seen this. If I have, I've forgotten the plot. This is spine number 1127, but I know this is where he falls in love with an Eastern Indian woman, I believe in Mississippi. And in certain cultures, they don't really believe in mixing races or ethnicities. Well, ethnicities, not necessarily race, we're all human, so they don't believe in mixing ethnicities. So don't believe I've seen this, though, but looking forward to watching it. Spine number 1127, Mississippi Masala. Another movie that was recommended to me from a subscriber, but I haven't watched it yet. Spine number 779, Mhullen Drive from David Lynch. Don't know anything about this, but I hear it has a very unusual ending. So again, so many movies, not enough time. My dream is to retire and watch at least 3 or 4 movies every day. And that would be bliss for me. I would not get tired of doing that. I could do that all day, every day. Mhullen Drive, spine number 779. Classic horror. Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby. I think this has been done at least a couple times over. Forgot the actress. Was it Zoe Saldana or the other one that did it? Spine number 630. Very creepy, well shot horror movie, suspense. Rosemary's Baby. I imagine if this doesn't have a 4K, I'm sure that it will eventually. Spine number 630. Next, the Royal Tenenbaums. This is the other Wes what is it guy's last name? I've just been talking about him. Wes Anderson. Yeah, Ben Stiller, Luke Wilson, Owen Wilson, Bill Murray, Danny Glover, Gene Hackman, Angelica Houston. So you have a star-studded cast. Very funny movie, deadpan humor, great cast of actors. Again, just more Wes Anderson quirkiness. This is spine number 157. Around Midnight, another outstanding soundtrack, Dexter Gordon. This is spine number 1122. And this is I believe it's actually a mood movie, just how some of the scenes are shot. I believe it's in Paris, and in order to get a certain feel for certain scenes, they actually created this artificial kind of setting, bar setting. I believe it's this right here. It's got that kind of setting, no. But essentially have this hugely talented jazz musician with a drinking problem and just trying to make it. You find someone that's just so enamored with his talent that he does his best to help him out. Fantastic movie, around midnight. Rushmore, spine number 65, another Wes Anderson, one of my favorite movies. This is more with a prep school kid who is just very unique. And being in high school, being very unique is not always the best thing to be, or not the easiest thing to be, I should say. Spine number 65, Rushmore. Who's in this one also? Bill Murray is in this one also. Rushmore. Next, David Cronenberg. Over the past few years, he's become one of my favorite directors just from his very odd, unusual movies. Existence, Map to the Stars. I believe he did Scanners, if I'm not mistaken. This is with Debbie Harry from Blondie from the 70s, Videodrome, spine number 248. Next, To Die For, Nicole Kidman. Don't remember what this was about. I think this is a suspense thriller, spine number 1213. It's been a while since I watched this. I was waiting a while for getting the Blu Ray, because I believe the Blu Ray was out of print and they wanted some astronomical amount for that. Fortunately, Criterion came out with the Blu Ray and the 4K. Didn't need the 4K, I just picked up the Blu Ray. So, love to get back into this. Spine number 1213, Nicole Kidman, To Die For. Last two, Terry Gilliam from Monty Python. Grew up watching, before there was Cinemax and HBO, we had three networks: ABC, CBS, NBC, ABC affiliate. This is even before Fox. And we had PBS. PBS, we got to see full frontal nudity every now and then on Benny Hill and Monty Python's Flying Circus. So that's where I became familiar with Terry Gilliam and Michael Palin, the whole John Cleese, Gilliam, the whole Monty Python. So this is an interesting science fiction time travel movie. I know it's time travel. Yeah, it is time travel. Time Bandits. And lastly, I lied, one other one that I just purchased. Yes, David Cronenberg did do Scanners. Fantastic sci-fi thriller. It's actually banned in some foreign movies for its violence and kind of social commentaries on governments experimenting with citizens. Spine number 712. Scanners. And my new edition, which I didn't pick up at the Criterion sale, but I did win this in an eBay bid. So it was still cheaper than getting it at the 50% off sale at Barnes & Noble. Brazil. This is a Terry Gilliam film, spine number 51. This is spine this one, spine 712. And this is a very surreal, another social commentary on the corporate world from the kind of Monty Python, Terry Gilliam brain. Brazil. And this is my updated 2025 Criterion Collection Blu-ray set, or Blu-ray collection. If you made this far in the video, smash the like, give me the big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Other than that, and yeah, if you have your own favorite Criterions, leave it in the comments. Or if you have something that you think I should add to my collection, leave it in the comments. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Everyone, please be safe. Deuces.